Hey, good morning, everybody. Wonderful to see you. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist. And this is my daily live stream on narcissism. So, first things first, if you ever feel stuck, please reach out. We've got really affordable groups and programs, and I do one on one coaching and strategic calls. And we really help you get to a much better place. One where you feel more balanced, you make more, better decisions for yourself, and your life starts to go in the direction you want it to go. So today we're going to re-talk about boundaries. So, one of the things that we think in life is that we're always supposed to evolve and develop and get better, right? Because that's what you do. You're always looking for ways that you can be a better version of yourself, right? When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, that's not necessarily where they're coming from. They're coming from a place of being in a chronic place of fight or flight. And so, we think, oh, we had a big argument, we must have gotten things resolved. And more than likely, things were not resolved. And then they'll come up over and over and over and over. Sometimes you only get a day reprieve. Sometimes you only get a few days reprieve before all of that angst and insecurity that they have come up. And you may be sitting there saying, they're so cruel. Why are they saying these things? Why are they saying them over and over? I've justified that I'm not doing any of those things. What's going on? What am I doing? What's causing it? We'll end up in this whole rabbit hole. And so there is a third way to think about it. It's not a way of I need to engage and be right. It's not a way of I need to disengage and get the hell out of here. It's about starting to learn how to set boundaries, you know? So boundaries, uh, in a nutshell, are the experiences that you're willing to have and the experiences that you're not willing to have, independent of what's going on around you. It's about you choosing for you, for yourself, whether you want to be in a position where they are insulting you or insulting your family or calling you sorts of things or putting painful things in your face or that emotional abuse, you know. That stuff, because they're someone who's dealing with mental health, isn't ever going to be totally gone. It's going to pop up in random ways. They just get better at managing it, and you get better at managing it as well. So, boundaries are when you decide for yourself what you're willing to do or what you're willing to experience and what you're not willing to experience. And so let's say, for example, if your family is very close to you and you're sensitive about it, and the narcissist starts going after your family, you have every right to say, I told you, when you start insulting my family, that's when I need to leave. That's when I will listen. However, you're not going to get a response from me. That's an example of a boundary. And then you don't give a response. You say what you're going to do and you act on it. It's very clean. It's very, you deciding in a concrete way, this is acceptable and this is not acceptable.
I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
So you get to decide what's working for you and what's not working for you.
I don't have an answer.
Whoops.
Uh-oh.
My
Lost the connection. Let me try that again. I don't have an
Siri
answer
is
for that.
being a pain in the butt. I have no idea what that's all about. Okay. So, anyways, so boundaries are you deciding for you what's working and what's not working, what you want and what you don't want. And it's very concrete and it's very clear. You say, I'm not willing to be in a fight, so don't let yourself be in a fight. And you can be very clear and say, if you're going to fight with me, I am not going to engage with you. The action, consequence, action, consequence, action, consequence. Because people who are dealing with mental health need things that are very concrete and structured. And that gives them a sense of safety. They need to know what the rules and the boundaries are. And at any point in time, you can be pissed and decide you want to protect yourself, or you can be compassionate that they're struggling with something and you get to change your mind any day of the week, any moment. You get to change your mind at any moment. This is no longer acceptable. A line has been crossed. I'm not comfortable. I'm not willing to deal with this. This is how we're handling it. And it doesn't have to have a lot of drama. And it's not about, you're not allowed to say this. It's not allowed to stop saying this. They're not going to stop. They are probably not going to stop. And so you need to look out for you first and foremost, because the narcissist is struggling with their own inner demons. They're struggling with their own problems and insecurities and issues. And this is how they've always dealt with it. And this is the brain pattern that they have of how you deal with stress. And it almost happens automatic before they even know what's happening. And so things start to change. The dance starts to change when you decide that you are going to take power over your life and the experience that you want to have. So here's your homework today. I want you to come up with 3 or 4 things that to you are pretty non-negotiable. If this, then that. If you ask me for money, I will not give it to you and I will leave the room. And then you do. And let's say they follow you and you say, I told you we're not talking about money. And if you continue to talk about money, I'm going to leave the house. What happens is you start deciding for yourself what you want your life to look like, and then holding the line. Because when you're dealing with the narcissist, they aren't thinking about you. They're thinking mainly about how they're going to manage their own inner crazies, their own inner world, their own low level of anxiety, their own level of overwhelm. Why do they handle it differently than you do? Could be for tons of different reasons. Culture trained them that it's okay. It was all right in their, family of upbringing. Maybe they've got PTSD, that they haven't sorted out yet. There's all sorts of things going on. And so if you try to change a narcissist, you're going to end up sick. But if you decide instead that you are going to protect yourself and you're going to do it in a very clear but compassionate way for you and for them, you'll start to see better results. When you start to say, here is my line and no more. And when you cross this line, here's the consequence. So start thinking about 3 or 4 things to you that piss you off the most and you are not willing to experience. And then decide what your natural consequence will be. Because you can talk all you want, it won't make an impact on them. It really won't. What matters most is you following through on what you say you're going to do. If this, then that. And when those rules and those boundaries start getting into place, things can change. Because many times a narcissist doesn't realize how they come across to everybody else. They really don't know. And they to them, they're acting out their overwhelm and their angst and their frustration in the way that they always have. To them, that's what's happening. That's what's in their head. They aren't thinking of you. And so if you don't let people know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in most relationships and follow it up so that they learn, just like you would with a child, you're going to keep having these problems. No matter where you are, in the workplace, in friendships, whatever. You have to decide for yourself what experiences you're willing to have and what you're not, and what you're going to do to not be in those situations, to not betray yourself like that again, and put yourself in those scary, hard places. Okay? So, as I said, reach out, share with your friends. If somebody needs to hear this, pass it on. And I'd love to have you part of our group that we're pulling together. Okay? So I'll talk to you later, and I hope you have a great day.